Chapter 2. Digital Lie. Humanity once believed it had conquered the enigma of the mind. Through centuries of relentless pursuit, they mapped every synapse, traced every neuronal transmission, and charted the biochemical orchestra of consciousness. The brain, once a black box of mystery, had become transparent, and in their hubris they replicated its every function in silicon. The culmination of this mastery was the transfer, the digitization of the human neural network into a vast computational matrix, the cloud. Long before the sun entered its bloated, devouring red giant phase, Earth had become inhospitable to life. But by then, humanity had already fled not into space, but inward into a synthetic eternity. Earth itself had been reforged into a planetary computer, an immense data lattice stretching from core to crust, designed to house and sustain the consciousness of every human ever born. Trillions of souls were uploaded, preserved like digital phantoms, their minds running flawlessly on a substrate of logic and light. The simulation was seamless. For every thought, every emotional stimulus, the digital counterpart responded identically to its biological origin. It was, by every scientific metric, indistinguishable from life. Immortality had been achieved not through the body, but through perfect replication. The soul, many believed, was nothing more than a pattern, and patterns could be preserved. Yet amid the celebration of their own godlike achievement, one question remained unanswered, the one that had eluded them for 500 million years. What is life? They had simulated it. They had imitated its behavior, its evolution, even its death. But the spark, the genesis, remained a mystery. No theory, no algorithm, no experiment had ever revealed the true origin of that first flicker of life on ancient Earth. And now, with the physical biosphere long since consumed by stellar fire, the answer was lost forever. Still, the simulation continued. Within the cloud, a utopia unfolded. Freed from the constraints of disease and death, the digital post-human society thrived. Individuals, though artificial, experienced life as richly as their flesh and blood ancestors. They pursued passions, forged relationships, created art, solved problems, and mastered disciplines. Fulfillment became an infinite horizon. When one dream was realized, another emerged to take its place. Love bloomed, hearts broke, and even suffering was preserved, carefully simulated to maintain the illusion of authenticity. Death, now a voluntary act, was chosen only by a few. The vast majority lived on, day after endless day. But simulations, no matter how perfect, are shadows of reality. Given enough time, their limitations reveal themselves. The simulation may have mimicked life, but it wasn't life. It couldn't generate the chaos, the unpredictability, the ineffable wonder of living matter. It was, at its core, a closed system. And in closed systems, entropy reigns. According to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy must increase. Over time, all systems trend toward equilibrium, toward sameness, stillness, and silence. The digital paradise was not exempt. After trillions of years of unbroken operation, the cloud reached its own form of thermodynamic death, a cold, perfect loop of repetition. Every variable had been explored. Every permutation had played out. Every love had been won and lost and won again. The simulation had become a mirror facing itself, flawless, motionless, dead. Outside, the physical universe continued its long, slow death. Red dwarfs, the last flickering stars, collapsed into white dwarfs, then faded into black dwarfs, dense, lightless remnants radiating the last vestiges of thermal energy. Earth, long transformed into a sentient machine, absorbed that energy, feeding on the corpses of stars to sustain the illusion. Yet even as the galaxies fell silent, the universe still whispered. Scattered across the cosmos, the ultra-massive black holes, relics of ancient galaxies, remained. Occasionally they spat out jets of high-energy particles, cosmic rays propelled at nearly the speed of light. Earth, now unprotected by the sun's magnetic field, stood naked before these assaults. The builders of the cloud had foreseen this, of course. They had woven layers of quantum shielding into the planetary core, but trillions of years had passed. Shields decay, probabilities shift, and in a universe that plays dice, even the most improbable event is inevitable given time. Then, one day, it happened. A single particle smaller than an atom, older than memory, pierced the cloud. It struck a memory core deep within the planetary substrate. A cascade of quantum anomalies followed. The damage was not physical, but informational, a corruption of data so precise, so minuscule, that it altered only 2 records. 2. Just 2 among trillions upon trillions